Welcome back to Brain Feed Lab. Today, we're going to dive into 10 Dumbest Criminals Part 2. If you haven't already, make sure to check out our other videos. Number 1. The Bank Heist. In 2010, a bizarre crime unfolded in Fairfield, Connecticut when Albert Bailey and his 16-year-old accomplice planned to rob a bank. However, their approach was anything but typical. Instead of sneaking into the bank or carefully timing their move, Bailey had an unusual idea: to call ahead and notify the bank of their upcoming heist. Bailey's plan seemed simple in his mind. By giving the bank a heads up, he believed the staff would have enough time to gather the money, so when he arrived, everything would be ready. His goal was to make the robbery quick and efficient without the usual risks of waiting around or causing a scene. So about 10 minutes before they entered the bank, Bailey made the fateful phone call informing the staff of their arrival and requesting that they prepare $100,000 in cash. The bank didn't follow Bailey's instructions. Instead, they immediately alerted the police, giving them ample time to position officers around the bank. When Bailey and his teenage accomplice finally arrived, the younger man handed a note to the teller demanding the money. But by then, the bank was already prepared for their visit. Despite their bold demand for $100,000, the robbers were only given around $900. The cash was placed in a bag, which unfortunately for the robbers included a hidden dye pack. These dye packs are designed to explode after a short time, staining the money and alerting authorities. As the robbers tried to leave with their haul, the dye pack exploded, covering the money and themselves with red ink. This was just the beginning of their problems, as the police, who had been notified well in advance of the crime, were waiting outside to arrest them. Number 2. The Facebook Fool. In 2014, a man named Nicholas Wigg broke into a home in Minnesota intending to steal valuable items. During the burglary, Wigg made a little mistake. He logged into his personal Facebook account on the homeowner's computer. After taking some cash and credit cards, he forgot to log out and left the house. When the homeowner, James Wood, returned, he discovered the open Facebook profile and quickly used it to track Wigg. Wood posted a message on Wigg's account about the burglary, and to his surprise, Wigg responded. The two communicated, with Wood pretending to be cooperative. He offered to meet Wigg, saying he would return the thief's jeans and shoes that were left behind during the break-in. In return, Wood hoped to retrieve some of his stolen belongings. Wigg agreed to meet up, but what he didn't know was that the police were already involved. As soon as Wigg arrived at the meeting spot, police officers were ready and arrested him without any trouble. Wigg's major mistake of leaving his Facebook account logged in led to his quick capture. The case quickly caught media attention, and Wigg was humorously labeled as one of the world's dumbest criminals. Due to his foolish actions, Wigg faced serious charges, including the potential for a 10-year prison sentence and a large fine. Number 3. The Selfie Bandit. The man, after swiping the phone from a car in Solihull, England, didn't think twice about using it for his personal enjoyment. He started taking selfies with the stolen device, posing casually as if the phone was his. However, there was something he hadn't counted on. The phone was still synced to the owner's cloud account. As he continued snapping photos, the images were automatically uploaded to the cloud without his knowledge. Later, when the owner, a 59-year-old woman, checked her cloud account, she was shocked to find a series of selfies from an unfamiliar face. Realizing these photos must have come from the stolen phone, she quickly contacted the police, handing over the images that clearly showed the thief's face. With such clear visual evidence, the West Midlands police didn't have to search far. They were able to use the photos to track the man down, leading to his arrest. Number 4. The Stolen Credit Card Pizza Delivery. Story begins on December 25, 2023, when 32-year-old Jacob Skoltz decided to break into a house. In the morning, family reported that their house had been burglarized and valuable items, including credit cards, were stolen. Among the stolen items were Christmas gifts. Just 2 days later, Jacob decided to indulge himself and ordered a pizza using one of the stolen credit cards. He had it delivered directly to his apartment, which surprisingly didn't lead to his arrest. Few weeks later, on January 12, 2024, at around 1 a.m., Skoltz attempted to steal jewelry from a mall, but was apprehended by the police when he tried to escape on an electric scooter. During the arrest, officers found a loaded Glock 23 firearm on his right hip, a knife on his left hip, and that he was wearing a ballistic plate on his chest. They also found pepper spray, a fake security badge, and stolen jewelry. Further investigation into his cell phone data connected him to the earlier Christmas burglary because of the Domino's pizza order made with a stolen credit card. On April 24th, police searched Skolt's home and also found one of the stolen presents with some scraps of Christmas gift wrapping paper with a shipping label still on it. Number 5. The Stuck Burglar. In January 2022, an unusual attempted burglary occurred in Silver Spring, Maryland, involving a man who got stuck in a chimney while trying to break into a house. The incident began in the early hours of the morning when the homeowners were disturbed by a strange knocking noise coming from the walls. Concerned about the unsettling sounds, the residents called the police. When officers arrived, they quickly discovered that a 24-year-old male had become trapped inside the chimney. The situation was bizarre. The man had apparently attempted to enter the home through the chimney, but ended up wedged tightly and unable to escape. Firefighters were called to the scene to assist in rescuing the man. It took them over 90 minutes to get him out. Using specialized equipment, they had to carefully remove bricks and other debris from around the chimney to free him without causing harm. Once he was finally released, the man was transported to a local hospital for treatment of minor injuries. Despite his predicament, he was later charged with fourth-degree burglary for his failed attempt and had to pay for the damage caused to the property. Number 6. The Returning Robber. At one night, Nicholas Teta attacked the student who was asleep in his hostel with a flick knife and screwdriver and robbed him of Dell laptop computer, cellular phone, and $1,000 and fled. However, on the way out of the hostel, Teta realized that he had left behind the charger to the laptop, and he hid the computer in the bush nearby and returned to the hostel room to take the charger. As he got back, some students chased him, and in an attempt to escape, Teta scaled the wall of the hostel and landed awkwardly and fractured his right knee. The students arrested Teta and handed him and the booty over to the police. Chief Nzkumeka said that Teta was found to have committed a similar offense a day earlier. Prosecution said Teta, who claimed to be a driver and a satellite dish installer, was also found to be involved in another stealing case in which he led the police to a hideout at the Ho Powerhouse to retrieve stolen items. The court sentenced Teta to 18 years imprisonment for robbery and 3 years for stealing, with the jail terms to run consecutively. Number 7. The Note-Leaving Thief. The story begins with Chitharai Selvan, a 79-year-old retired teacher, who had left his home in Southern to visit their son in Chennai. They hired a domestic helper, Selvi, to keep an eye on the house during their absence. On June 26th, while Selvi was cleaning the house, she discovered that the main door was ajar. Alarmed with the situation, she notified Selvan, who returned to find that their home had been ransacked. The couple soon realized that valuables totaling around $60,000, 12 grams of gold jewelry, and a pair of silver anklets were missing. As the police began their investigation, they found a handwritten note left by the burglar. In an unbelievable twist, the thief had penned an apology, expressing remorse for his actions. The note read, "Forgive me. I will return this in a month. I am doing this because someone in my house is not well." It seemed that the thief had attempted to justify his crime, hoping for some form of understanding from his victims. While the police worked diligently to track down the thief, the community buzzed with gossip about the incident. Many residents found humor in the thief's misguided attempt at remorse, while others expressed sympathy for the elderly couple who had been victimized. Number 8. The Forgetful Thief. A 25-year-old man named Callum Tumulty was sentenced to jail after his latest attempt at theft went hilariously awry. Just weeks after being released from prison, Tumulty decided to steal a bicycle parked outside Newcastle Dental Hospital. However, he left behind a crucial piece of evidence, his own wallet, which contained his driver's license. The incident occurred in April 2021 when Tumulty was spotted pushing a bicycle near Exhibition Park by police officer PC Paul Lewins. Recognizing something suspicious, the officer approached Tumulty. In a panic, the thief abandoned the bike and fled the scene. But rather than give up, PC Lewins retraced Tumulty's path and discovered a bag near the bike shed containing a bolt cutter, some clothing, and, most importantly, Tumulty's wallet. This slip-up led police straight to him. They arrested Tumulty shortly after, charging him with theft. When he appeared in North Tyneside Magistrates Court, it was revealed that he had only been out of prison for 4 weeks prior to this latest crime. During the court proceedings, Tumulty was sentenced to 10 weeks in jail and ordered to pay £230 in compensation to the bike's rightful owner. Number 9. Thief who pretended to be dead. In a small town near Valencia, Spain, an unusual crime unfolded one quiet night. A thief decided to break into a local funeral home, thinking it would be an easy target. As he crept through the shadowy halls, he grabbed a few items of value. However, as he was about to make his escape, he heard the sound of approaching sirens. In a panic, he realized he had to find a place to hide. His eyes darted around the room, and then he spotted a large coffin in the corner, which had just been prepared for an upcoming funeral. Without a second thought, the thief jumped into the coffin and closed the lid, hoping that he could wait out the commotion. He thought he could just lay low until the coast was clear. Unfortunately for him, the police arrived quickly, alerted by neighbors who noticed the front doors of the funeral home wide open. The officers entered the building, their flashlights illuminating the dimly lit space. As they searched for any signs of the intruder, they couldn't help but notice the lid of the coffin slightly ajar. Approaching cautiously, they lifted the lid to find the would-be thief inside, lying there with a nervous expression on his face. The thief tried to pull off an act of being dead, hoping that he could convince the officers that he was merely a corpse. However, 2 key details gave him away. First, his clothing was far too casual for a funeral, and second, the rising and falling of his chest made it obvious that he was very much alive. Number 10. Stolen hunting knives. On a quiet evening in Grand Rapids, Michigan, what began as a typical day at the local Meijer superstore quickly turned into a dramatic and unusual event. A man, later revealed to have a history of retail fraud, attempted to steal a set of hunting knives valued at approximately $300. His plan seemed simple enough: conceal the knives in his waistband and slip out unnoticed. However, the execution of this plan would not go as smoothly as he had hoped. It was around 5:40 p.m. when store employees began to suspect the man's behavior. He had lingered a bit too long in the knife aisle, casting furtive glances around the store. When he finally made his move, the hunting knives clinked against one another as he hid them beneath his clothing. Though he tried to walk casually towards the exit, the bulge in his coat raised suspicions among the store's security team. As he neared the doors, security personnel confronted him. Panic set in, and instead of surrendering, the man made a hasty decision to flee. Unfortunately, while trying to run, he fell. During the fall, the concealed knives he had stolen shifted inside his waistband. One of the blades sliced through his clothing and stabbed him directly in the abdomen. Despite the severity of the incident, his injuries were not life-threatening, and he was expected to recover. Following the incident, police confirmed that the man would face misdemeanor shoplifting charges once released from the hospital. What made the case even more interesting was the revelation that this was not his first run-in with the law. The man had a prior record of retail fraud, raising questions about whether he had learned anything from his previous offenses.